here to give you what you want. Welcome to Barbell Shrugged. I'm Anders Varner, Doug Larson,
Yeah.
Coach Travis Mash,
Yes.
Eric Blumberg. Did I get that right?
Yes.
I'm working on my Swedish accent.
That's perfect.
We are here at Eleiko headquarters in Halmstad, Sweden. Eleiko. This is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. I have a child and I've gotten married. This is we're pushing the boundaries on amazing. We sailed across or flew across this beautiful Atlantic Ocean, took the red eye. I feel like when I started lifting weights, I never really knew that I would be making barbells at Eleiko. And the first time I ever touched an Eleiko barbell, my weightlifting coach literally like walked over to me and told me in the same manner of as if he was having me meet his kid for the first time, the importance of the barbell.
Oh, yeah.
And how it basically was an extension of his life and his life's work to be able to actually own one of these things. So to have the CEO here, to actually be at Eleiko headquarters, I feel like this is as close to a dream come true as we can get.
This is a dream.
Amazing.
Welcome to the show.
Happy to have you here again.
So good. For anybody that does not know kind of the history of the story, it's not the most. I feel like if you were to walk into a gym and be like, we want to make the best barbell in the world, how do we do that? You'd go find like some meathead that spent a lot of time on barbells, but instead you guys were in the waffle iron industry,
that's
an
right.
appliance industry.
Yeah, exactly.
What's a little bit of the backstory of the company, and how did we get to making the best barbells in the world?
That's a good question. It's an interesting story. So actually the company was started already in 1927, and at that time it was making electrical appliances. So waffle irons, toasters, ovens. So that was the origin of the business. And it was doing that for quite some time, but it started to diversify as well. And out of pure chance, basically, there was a weightlifter working in the factory in the 50s.
Oh my!
And he wanted
some
to
strong guy that looked like Travis, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but taller.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone here 6'3".
Yeah.
Midget. I'm definitely considered a midget. Yeah.
And he wanted to make a barbell that could last an entire competition.
Yeah.
In those days, it was really you used several barbells in a competition.
Because they would bend?
Bend, yeah, and sometimes even broke. And it was also a funny thing at the time. It was a widow of the family that originally established the business. She was running the company at the time, and this was quite unusual as well in Sweden to have a female CEO running a business. And but she said yes to this. So she said, let's develop a weightlifting bar, and let's see what happens. And that was done working with a steel mill up in the northern part of Sweden, where we still get our specialty steel for this type of product, and developed the Eleiko bar. It was introduced at a World Championships in Stockholm in the early 60s for professional weightlifting, and since then it's sort of built really the reputation that we have in the industry right now, and over 1,000 world records with Eleiko bar, and it was the first company to be certified by the International Weightlifting Federation, and that's been the core of the business for so many years.
You have the most world records in the world.
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
Amazing.
Over the course of 50 years, like how have the barbells changed over 50 years? I'm sure there's iterations and improvements that are constantly happening. Like, what did they look like 50 years ago, and then what do they look like today?
That's right. And I mean, we continuously work with perfecting the barbell, and I think over the years there's been multiple incremental improvements to the product. I think we did the last real big upgrade just about 2 years ago, where we took a couple of steps back and really looked at the product to see what really to examine and benchmark this product against everything that's out there, and that was a really interesting project, and ultimately that led to us launching the next generation of Eleiko barbells, and there are three main things that we've improved now in the latest round of development work, and one is the steel. where we perfected both the steel we use, but mostly on the hardening and the surface treatment process to make it last longer. And the other thing is the grip. Eleiko bars are known for having a very professional grip.
Right.
It's quite sharp. It's quite suited for really heavy lifting. But we've perfected that and made a smoother grip for the fitness and the performance bars.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say that the main change we did was on the construction of the bearings in the sleeve, and there we introduced two new things. One was a dustproof seal to really make sure that inside the sleeve it's clean and it's well greased for optimal durability. And then we also introduced a new type of construction for the bearing application. So we introduced an inner race between the bearing and the bar, and that has some interesting consequences. It really perfects the rotation of the bar. So typically, if you look at older bars, the heavier you load the bar, there's some slight effects on the rotation of the sleeve. But with this new construction, we're really trying to optimize the rotation and make it optimally smooth for lifting for all type of loads. And really at the core is that we want to make an experience for the lifter where you have the ultimate lifting experience. You should be as connected to the bar as you are to your own body. Every slippage, everything should be so optimal that it feels like you're basically lifting your own self.
Yeah.
That's kind of the driver behind our thinking with developing the bars.
We talked about the history of the company starting as an appliance company. We mentioned the waffle makers.
Yeah.
We just had Swedish waffles a little bit ago.
Delicious. Delicious.
And we were talking about the grip and the knurling and whatnot.
Yeah.
We haven't actually tied those two things together. Can you give us the story of the waffles?
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is that waffle iron, I mean, the waffle iron is still there on the bar. I mean, the grip is a waffle iron pattern. So it really connects back to the history of the
It's actually 100% true.
of the-
You
of
don't
the
have to
company.
believe them. You can believe us. We
Yeah.
ate the waffles. It's the exact same.
Exactly, and you've
Yeah.
been in the production as well, so
Yeah.
you've seen it.
So someone back in the day saw the waffle iron pattern, was like, "Yo, we should stamp that on a barbell, and that'd give us
Exactly.
better grip." And then it just turned out to
Yeah.
work really well.
The funny thing is I actually saw my brother visited the Nike headquarters some time ago, and they also have a similar type of waffle iron story to their history.
Yeah, the
They
shoe.
made the shoe.
That's right.
They
Oh,
made a
right, that's
sole
right.
out of.
They had the waffle pattern.
They didn't
Yeah.
make the waffle irons themselves, but they actually were somehow eating waffles and came up with an idea to make a sole that was really innovative and new at the time. So it's nice to have a shared history with
Yeah.
that type
Yeah,
of
that's
company.
the shoe
Nike's
is
been around. They're-
grippy
yeah,
and
they're
it-
good.
and it
They do
bends.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been successful.
Exactly.
When did you become CEO?
2012.
Was that right about when you guys went back and kind of this process of reinventing the barbell and upgrading everything?
Yeah, you can say. I mean, since then I would say we've accelerated our focus on product development and really focusing on the core of our business, which is the lifting equipment, of course, the free weights, the weightlifting, powerlifting, powerlifting, but really free weights equipment for lifting, strength training, and functional fitness.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool to tell the people, like how you guys use your company motto where you want to be kind to everyone, not just to every person, but to yourself, the environment. We learned that a lot of your processes are very healthy for the environment. I think a lot of people would love to hear that.
Yeah. No, I mean, our values are really built on performance, of course. So pursue outstanding performance. That's
Being
really at the
jacked.
core.
Yeah.
And then
He means
then-
being jacked.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And to keep learning. So education is a key part of what we work with. And then the kindness part. We say you should act with kindness, and also that is sort of the internally we talk about it as the ultimate display of strength. And it's something that we care a lot about. It really goes back to the way my father ran the business. So we're a family-owned company, and my father ran it for quite some years, and he was always talking about putting the human being at the center, and we try to really keep that in the business, and it's something we care a lot about. So the relationships are extremely important, both within the company and then with every person that somehow touches the Eleiko company.
Kind of growing up in this business, what was your connection as a kid to the weightlifting, powerlifting community, and really, you don't have to go into the family business, but you guys clearly have and accelerated it.
Yeah, exactly. And I've always been close to the business, and I was working, even though I was not operationally in the company, I was working with my father on discussing how we could develop the company. But I went my own path for a while, and my background is more in finance and that type of industry. But I've always had my eye on the company and really wanting to develop it in a good way. And I think now it's 7 years ago we made a decision to transition, and I've just always loved the company, the products, the people. And also I'm driven also by having a platform where we can actually have some positive impact on people. So it's a luxury, and it's a great benefit to be able to take on a task like that. And in terms of the specifics for weightlifting, I've lifted myself for quite some years, but I'm really I eat everything in terms of sports. So I run, I cycle, I swim, I hike. So.
But lifting weights is the coolest one.
Yeah, it is exactly.
Yeah, see, everybody.
I think it would be a lot of pressure to take the business, knowing that it's considered the best barbell that's ever existed, and you got to maintain that. There's a lot of companies out there trying to beat you. What is the pressure like as taking that on? Because when you take it on, that's you saying, I'm going to keep this the best barbell that's ever existed.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I think this was something I thought a lot about just before I joined. And I think the big risk with running a company where you actually are considered to be a leader in your field is that you lean back,
right,
and you fall back on your history, and the history is there, and it should guide you a lot, but it should not let you lean back and stop developing the company and the products. So I think that's really been my guiding star, I would say. And to really push the company forward in terms of product development and innovation, and we also trying to create I mean, our business model is really built around very strong collaboration with our customers, having our education business as part of what we offer, bringing a solution with really top quality products at the core that are tested and developed in together with the best athletes in the world, and really being used in the world's best facilities.
Right.
So it's I've thought a lot about that part, and it's something that I have to remind myself of every day.
Yeah, man. Because if you just sit back and say, look, we're the best, and you don't do anything to continue being the best, somebody will eventually take you over. But if you're already ahead, the best part of that is I'm ahead, so keep going. No one will ever catch you.
Yeah.
They'll just be getting to where you were.
Yeah, and I think you need to really find a balance between being confident in what you do and having a humbleness for that. So it's extremely important.
Well, you guys have also structured the business in a way that it separates you with the contract that you guys have with the steel company. You guys are the only people in the world that are able to have access to the raw materials to create the products. How is that kind of not only that relationship, but the other things that you guys have put in place to ensure that you're able to maintain that leadership in the field?
No, I think that's right. I mean, we try to work with proprietary materials, and we also look for innovation that can be patented. So you can always work to find things where you can lock in some parts of your business. But I think to build something really sustainable for the future, that's one part. But I think it's really building the whole integrated offering that we can supply.
I'm curious the marketing, because we were told that humility is a huge part of the Swedish background.
Yeah.
So marketing would be interesting there, because you wanting to be humble. You're number one. You want people to know that, but you don't necessarily want to say that. So how do you consider that when you're doing your marketing?
Yeah, no, it's right, and it's I mean, there's a trap which you can fall in, where you become sort of too self-confident or even self-righteous on some parts. But
Right.
I think it's I mean that has to come from the culture in the company.
Right.
I mean, we have as one of our 3 values really to keep learning and to keep examining yourself and really being critical inwards on
Right.
do we really are we really making the best effort we can here? Do we have the best solution and the best products? So I think that's a day-to-day exercise to keep pushing that mentality.
Yeah, as you guys scale a business too, from creating a barbell to now becoming the leaders in the field, it's very easy to. I mean, we're in a room right now that is like perfectly branded. Everything's gorgeous, from top to
Beautiful.
bottom. The entire experience has just been, I would say, the best experience I could imagine.
Beautiful.
What have been the challenges kind of scaling the business, growing it into this leadership role, and then making sure that all the little stuff is taken care of with employees and culture and
I mean that's
the ethics behind it.
I mean and that's really the challenges you have as a fast-growing company. And we've been growing fast now for at least for the 7 years I've been here, and even before that. So we've been on a growth path for quite some time. And it kind of when you grow every year at a high rate, you need to make it into it has to be built into the strategy and built into the way you run the business. But definitely it has challenges every day. So just in terms of being able to build structure in the company and in the organization without losing the part where we've been nimble and flexible and so it's that's a real task that we work with every day.
One of the most interesting things that I've seen happen in strength and conditioning lately is the fact that I can walk into. It used to be if you went to in order to find a good barbell, you had to go to like the one random powerlifting gym of the guy that cared more than everybody, but you knew he was going to be out of business in 2 years, and you'd probably have to go train in his gym to find a good bar. And then you went to the Globo gym, and that was just like, oh, it's soul-sucking, and they don't have bars that spin, and it's just they're breaking all the time.
Yeah.
Now you can go into a Globo gym, and Eleiko's in there.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you guys have scaled it to Globo gyms has to have just radically shifted to become such a household name.
Yeah, how did you do that?
And well, I mean that's part of the strategy, of course, to really build on the expertise and experience we have from the professional market and take that to new markets. And I mean this is what's happening in the industry as well. I mean you see it better than most, I guess. I mean, but there is a real shift in how people train, and lifting is at the core. And
thank God.
Yeah,
right?
Thank God. And it's really quite natural when you think about it, because I mean the results are there, and the experience is better, and this has been a major hurdle in the fitness industry for so many years. There's been a clear opposition to taking on board that in the gyms.
Yeah.
But so we worked a lot with that both in terms of messaging and in terms of product development. That was actually the reason why we started the education business to begin with. It was that we saw obstacles in actually getting the fitness market to adopt to this, and they saw that this was a type of training that had higher injury rates.
When it's got a low one, really.
Young people should not do, old people should not do it. And it's noisy and it's all that. So we worked a lot with trying to educate our customers on that part, and really working together with them on understanding the true benefits of lifting. And it's both the physical benefits, and then it's the community benefits as well. It's a much more engaging type of training than the traditional type of fitness activity.
When I first heard how expensive an Eleiko barbell was, I was like, man, I just can't spend that kind of money. It's really tough. We just spent like 2 hours walking through the process. I think it's the greatest deal in the world when it comes to a barbell. Like creating that process and taking a piece of steel, the bar that comes from your suppliers. Can you just walk us through, in case, like, we're here filming a documentary on barbells, specifically creating the best barbells in the world, but what, I guess, kind of that process and a lot of the checks and balances that go into making sure that every single person, whether you're at Gold's Gym that has an Eleiko bar, a CrossFit gym, or standing on the world stage, that everybody has the exact same bar down to like the 1,000th of a gram.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean
That's a really, really tight margin.
exactly. No, I mean that's what we do, and the requirements on our products are very, very high, and our products have been developed. I mean, out in the competition field, where you've been used by the world's head, the people who lift the heaviest in the world.
Yeah.
So the testing is there for real, and then we just work very hard on the whole quality assurance process throughout the chain of production, of course. So we get the steel from our steel mill up in the northern part of Sweden, and it's a specialty type. It's an ultra clean type of steel through a special type of production process. So it's really about the cleanliness of the steel. That's sort of the starting point, and then it's all the way out through the surface treatment and the precision of the sleeves and the bearings and the final assembly process. So people sometimes talk about they lift junk almost, but this is a highly engineered.
I mean, the
and
bearings
precision
were $50.
precision
Like the little
product.
bitty bearings.
And you can only use them 3
that,
times.
that
Times.
press the
Yep.
bars. They get used 3 times are $50. Spend your money, guys. Like
Yeah.
this barbell,
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
Yo, one of the most impressive things I think I heard all day when we were doing the factory tour and learning how the barbells are made was we were asking, like, these bars are going to be used in the Olympics. Like the competition bars are used in the Olympics, the World Championships, et cetera. And we said, is there like this extra special attention that goes into the bars that happen in the Olympics? And they were just like, no, you can pick any one of them. Like they're all made at that caliber. So
Yeah.
we don't need to make a special bar. We already make them the best that they can be made.
And we just
There's,
made
there's
one.
nothing we could do to make them
There's
better.
one that says my daughter's name on it,
Exactly.
Doug Larson's bar, the MASH
Yeah,
barbell.
Bar.
Dude, that was the coolest. Making our own bars.
Yeah.
So
I
cool.
can't believe it.
I'm curious about the education. Like, I love that part. I was
Yeah.
watching. There's a class going on as we speak.
Yep.
So what all courses do you offer?
Well, we have some different types of education
Right.
courses that we offer. One is just product training, which
Right.
is sort of the basics on how to get the most of our products, and then we have modules on specific movements. So like the snatch, like the clean and jerk, or the a squat.
You got people doing that right behind us in the
Yeah,
other weight room
exactly.
right now.
Yeah.
And right now we have an Eleiko strength coach course going on, and that's a 3-day course for basically learning the basics of Olympic lifting, and then also be with a focus on coaching and how you can apply that in your setting, if it's a CrossFit club or if it's a fitness club.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of our mission as well. I mean, lifting is an amazing form of training,
Right.
and we want more people to discover that. And it's really a discovery activity as well. Once you understand it, and once you feel it, and once you are able to do your first real proper lift, you understand it and you
Yeah.
feel it. And we need to get more people to enter that door.
I
Not
agree.
just feeling the lift, but feeling the lifts with Eleiko barbells was
Uh,
the coolest thing ever. The first time you feel like the whip, or when the bar bends on your shoulders when you go to jerk, it's such a noticeable difference compared to everything else that you're going to use. When you guys think about kind of the education side and running these courses, how does that play into the products, or are those separate pieces that you guys are building? Is that part of the core business?
No, I mean we get there's a lot of synergies between the two. So we get feedback from the education business that we can use in the product development. We can the offering, of course, is a combined offering where we offer a solution and not just a product. In our marketing, one of the best ways to market these days is really to educate people on because people want to learn.
That's
It's fun to learn new
A
things.
solution,
Exactly.
not just a product. I like
Yeah.
that.
So I just see so many benefits of having this as an integrated part of our business.
I think one thing you mentioned is that feeling. Like anyone who's ever done a really good snatch, like there's no way to explain that other than to teach them how. And when you feel that first, big snatch, whatever it is, 120
Exactly.
kilos, 130 kilos, and it feels effortless. There's no other feeling like that, and in the world. It's like when you take this heavy barbell and you do it right.
Yeah.
Your body mechanics are perfect. You stay over the bar.
Yeah.
You drive with the
And you
leg,
rise.
and it's just like, and it feels like I didn't do anything, but the bar's above my head.
Yeah.
You can't get that feeling.
120, he
anywhere
said.
else.
That's what 280,
Huh?
286,
What?
no, 264.
120 is
Yeah.
264.
I don't know what that
pounds.
is. I don't know what that feels like.
kilograms, sorry. Yeah. I'm in Sweden, I'm talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get the kilograms.
Yeah.
So but yeah, there's no other. Or you see somebody beautiful. You see Lou
Yeah,
lift.
yeah,
When you
yeah.
see that with your own eyes, it is like watching gymnastics with a heavy barbell. It's
Yeah,
the
exactly.
most beautiful thing
Yeah.
you can imagine.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. How do you guys actually decide what is right? Because all these federations are coming to you to build this barbell, and you've got the best athletes in the world lifting on them. But how do you decide, like, we've gone too far on, how much this bar bends, or, powerlifting should, in a way, you get to shape sport by the products you build. So how do you decide where you go with sport, and how do you decide where the product may be handicapping the sport or making it too easy?
Yeah.
mm.
I mean, this is the conversation we're having with all our.
Well, let us be a part of it. Let's go.
Yeah,
I want to shape weightlifting right now.
Absolutely. Tell us what you think.
I
and
need
we'll-
more
we'll-
oscillation
we'll-
so I get stronger.
Absolutely.
Cheat more.
No, but it is a calibration as well. I mean,
Yeah.
we get people from all over the world coming here and visiting the company and they talk about their experience. And we also try to make it very personal as well. So we want them to talk to our production guys, and we want them to sit down with our product development team and with our marketing team. So that's an ongoing conversation the whole time. But I think over the years there's been many world champions and Olympic champions passing through these doors.
Because
So
in a way, I guess you could push world records forward by the products that you put out that actually hit the stage. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
checks and balance has to be
Yeah,
a pretty
absolutely.
intense conversation.
yeah, and I mean the spring of the bar and how the rhythm can help you get a better lift, of
Yeah.
course, and then also just how we focus a lot on really perfecting everything and optimizing the feel of the bar. There should not be any type of slippage in a weightlifting product, because that's all lost effort.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever done experiments where you put a force plate into a platform and have someone lift at like 80% on many different bars, and then looked at like the force diagrams and what peak power was and all that, just to see if there's any subtle differences with different bars lifting the
Yeah.
same weights with the same people?
Maybe not exactly like that. I mean, we have our test lab where we test a lot of things, but maybe not exactly like that. No.
What is the R&D process for you guys? Bringing lifters in, but if you're going to make a 1% change or 0.5% change to a barbell, how long does that process take, and how many lifters? I think we were talking about the dumbbell, and Joachim said he dropped it from overhead in workouts for like 500 reps or something, and
Yeah.
then you guys had a machine dropping the dumbbells for 500,000 reps
Yeah.
and making sure that it's still spun perfectly. So just walk us through a little bit of the process of like, we have an idea,
Yeah.
and then now this is actually a part of the process
Yeah.
or a product.
No, I mean it can take some time actually to develop products, but I think the biggest disturbing thing is often that we want to do too many things at the same time.
So easy, right?
Yeah, and
Do everything.
Exactly. So it's down to focusing on what's the most important thing for us.
Well, that was something you said when we were going through the tour. It seems like kind of you guys are in that Apple space where it's you
Make
guys
one or
have
two
outsourced
things.
a lot of the products and a lot of the processes, but you guys are really have 3 barbells that you just are the best in the world at, and just
Weightlifting,
keep
the
making
powerlifting,
them better.
Paralympics, and
Yeah,
you-
exactly. And then we want to innovate within that field as well. And these are quite traditional products, but we just we launched the open deadlift bar this year,
We got to talk
which
about
is
that.
which is a new way of approaching a trap bar.
right.
And it's a very simple and
I know, but it's simply beautiful because of the way you flip it up to load it, flip it down,
Yeah.
the back
Yeah.
is open. It's
Yeah, I love that the back's open, so you can
Ah.
do reverse lunges and all kinds of other
Yeah,
stuff that you can't do
yeah.
with the regular
You
trap
can
bar.
do good
I just
rows
love the
and
way
you can And that's exactly where we want to be, and that is what excites people here. That's when you can take a very traditional strength training product with the lifting at the center and make it better through simple, innovative.
The first time I saw that bar, or the half trap bar, I looked at it, I was like, there's no way that works.
What's the official name for that bar?
Open deadlift bar.
Open
open
deadlift
deadlift
bar.
So open
Yeah,
deadlift bar.
I saw it and I was like, there's no way. The whole front end's going to fall down. And then you see it in the two stoppers, or however, whatever.
Yeah,
what do
they
you call them?
counterweighted. So
The counterweight's on one side, which also helps load the barbell.
Yeah.
So the weights are off the ground.
Yeah.
Counterweights it so perfectly that it just sits there perfect every single time.
I think something that would give the audience just a bit of how amazing you guys are. We looked at the platform. I'm sorry, the squat rack / the combo. It's a combo lift, right? And you guys got a bunch of engineers to develop that, to make it better than anybody else is out there. And somebody asked them, well, like, what can you do to make it better? Like, is there a lot you can do? And then there was 80 points that they used to improve the combo rack.
Yeah.
The competition powerlifting rack is what it is.
Yeah.
80 points. That blows me away, because I've been around forever and I've seen a million of those. And the fact these dudes took 80 things from this. Yeah, it's a simple piece of equipment.
Yeah.
But the best.
What does the engineering department look like here? How many engineers do you guys have on staff? And I guess how is that split on creating new things and making things better versus kind of being the red team and
exactly.
pointing out,
Well,
being the bad guys,
yeah.
pointing out all the bad stuff, the things that need to get better.
We have 10 people dedicated for product development in the company. And then we also work with some outside support as well, where we need to bring in some other competencies. But that's the core. And this has also been, this is a journey for us as well. That's where we're pushing our resources as well. So we want to really lead and grow with product development at the front. So it's a very interesting journey, and it's such a fun thing to develop and innovate.
Yeah.
I'm quite excited about the coming years here as well.
Joachim was telling us about the kind of the mission to empower and kind of change the way weightlifting looks a little bit. Not weightlifting the sport, but lifting weights looks, just to get more people involved and kind of get people lifting weights, but not being scared of barbells specifically. And the trap bar deadlift being, or the what was the name of it?
Open
deadlift bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Being kind of that first step. When did that new mission take over, or that vision take over?
I think
then implementing.
That's really the strategy and the journey we're on. I think we want to take lifting to more people. And I think this product is one way to do that. I think the sound and vibration reducing platform we have is another way. And that's really opening up.
Man, you could have saved me so many problems.
Yeah, and especially if you look in the commercial fitness clubs, that's been a major hurdle for actually introducing this type of training.
Especially for someone who's lifting like on the second floor of a building.
Exactly.
You're dropping it like, and someone's below you, like, God, like every time they drop the barbell, like it's like, and then they're up there yelling at you.
So that's so we want to find ways to make it more accessible for people. But I think this another important thing is also to look at who's lifting. I mean, the perception of weightlifting in the past has really been it's a very masculine sport, and it's mostly for men. But I mean, what's happening in the industry is
in the world
is that it's women that take up lifting, and I think that's a fantastic thing to support. So looking for ways to actually invite that type of new groups of lifters in different areas.
Girls like Sarah Davies, from Great Britain.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a beauty queen too, so she competes in the beauty pageants and is going to the Olympics. It's like she's getting like number 6 in the world in weightlifting. That changes the perception of everything.
And the core is that it's about capability and not about looks.
It's not.
It's both for men and women, but it's how capable you are with your body that counts. And I think that's the really positive development that I think we all should support.
Yeah, well, what's super cool about the girls to me is, like, if you see Lou out there and he's clean and jerking 1 billion pounds, whatever the world record is, like, nobody in the world except him understands what is on the bar.
Right.
It's way too far away.
Yeah.
But you see a girl snatch 100, it's like everyone kind of understands what 220 feels like.
And they're like,
wow, I can't do that, and that just looks so simple, and they're so strong. and it's a girl. Holy crap, these girls are
Yeah.
such gangsters.
Ballet on barbells, man.
It's
beautiful.
really,
Right.
really
Yeah.
intense. How do you guys come up with and source a lot of this stuff? I mean, this leather that is on here, I think it's leather.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
normal leather that everyone might be
No.
thinking of. And then the foam pads, like how long of a process is it to find the actual raw materials to create?
No, it can be quite tricky, but we have I mean the part we're in right now in Sweden, we have a very it's like a cluster of manufacturing companies very close to here as well. So we have our own manufacturing here, and then we're working very closely with some other Swedish companies that are in this field. But that's a key thing as well, finding the right suppliers and the right materials.
Yeah. Where do coming up with the platform? Travis and I have joked about it for many the last couple hours. Like we both have been evicted 3 times from buildings for dropping barbells and
that whole thing started with that problem. So we had customers who were almost being thrown out of their facilities because they disturbed so much with the lifting, and that triggered that project.
Yeah.
But that's been a long development process as well, really trying to find the optimal layering and composition of the materials for that product. So it's several iterations to reach where we are right now.
Yeah. Do you guys bring in? I mean, you've mentioned multiple times that you have world-class athletes coming in here and testing products and seeing how it feels and making sure the barbell is just an extension of their body. Do you have regular Joe coming in from off the streets that's at the CrossFit gym or at the Globo gym to play with the products and just see the difference and feel what's going on, so that you can you're not just having this like Olympic level conversation with people?
No, that's right. And I mean a very important testing ground for us, of course, is our customers. So we work with some core facilities that we are very close to, and we collaborate on the development side there. So we get a lot of research done in those places. We have a concept which is a Eleiko certified facility, where we have some facilities that are really fully equipped and fully dedicated to our philosophy, and we share the same values, and they have the education part as part of their business as well, and then we can build a concept around that, and that those facilities are typically the ones where we work on product development projects as well.
Yeah, you mentioned a little bit earlier talking about your own training. It's much more of like a sportsman approach, where you're biking and just many sports. Weightlifting is just kind of, we made sure it was the most fun one that you're doing.
Yeah.
Do you bring a lot of, or I guess when you go out to play other sports and having a background where you're deep in these products, are you constantly looking at ways to innovate based on or seeing other sports and the way that they go about their business?
Yes, and I think, of course, I mean, weightlifting has so much to offer other sports as well. I mean, it's sort of the core part of most sports training program. So just, I mean, we sometimes talk about weightlifting for other sports, and we do specific efforts in really trying to bring weightlifting or powerlifting movements into other sports, because it has such great benefits.
Sure.
So that's also a key part of the education business, trying to really apply the weightlifting and powerlifting movements in different settings in a good way.
Yeah.
I'm curious what your best market, because obviously you deal with like weightlifting federations, different countries.
Yeah.
But I also am very familiar with the strength and conditioning staff at, say, Wake Forest University, which is the city I live in. So, like, what is your target? Like, where do you guys,
in terms of facilities that we serve?
Yeah. What industry or specific, populations is your target market?
I mean, we come from professional sports, so we talk about 3 main segments for us.
Right.
So the competition market is really the history of our company, and that's the professional weightlifting, and powerlifting, and powerlifting markets. And there we serve mostly competitions and sort of professional clubs.
Right.
And then the performance segment for us is more focused on schools, universities, like the one you mentioned.
Right.
And the military market, where we are doing where we're quite active at the moment, and
That's brilliant. Yeah.
and also other professional sports. So it could be in soccer, or
Basketball.
it could be in American football or basketball, or
Right.
what be it. And then we also serve the commercial fitness market, and then it's commercial clubs for.
Yeah.
When you say military, I just assume you're talking about the American or U.S. military.
Yeah, that's one
But
area.
on a world scale, you guys are serving multiple military
Yeah,
units,
because
countries.
they are quite far down this type of training as well.
yeah.
So they are quite into this more performance-based training
Yeah.
to
Got
begin
it.
with.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think what's
Cool.
happening in the U.S. right now is that now there's a whole shift in the way you test soldier readiness as well. So
they need that new deadlift bar.
Exactly.
They do.
Well, and there's a massive. We spent a weekend with a special operations person from the Air Force.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be working with them a lot because they're having massive issues in the fitness space just in America with our general lack of health. It
Yeah,
makes it
exactly.
very challenging
To get new people. It's
to
hard
get new
when-
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
much less the top 1% of the 1% to be in special ops.
Yeah.
And the ability to get quality products, lead through education in those units is just
I agree.
it's massive.
I mean, I think a squat, a deadlift, a snatch, a clean. I mean, that should be things you learn at school
Yeah.
early on,
I
and
agree.
in national
Yes.
programs, because the benefits are just incredible.
For every human on earth, it's movement. Here's
Yeah.
what people don't get. It's not just, getting stronger and jumping higher and fast. It's about being able to freaking move, man.
Exactly.
Like if I can do a snatch, I promise you can probably do any athletic movement that there is on earth. And what a great place to start by teaching someone to move around a barbell with such, amazing precision and such amazing
Yeah.
movement.
And we
Yeah.
talk about pursuing outstanding performance in sports, but also in life, because the benefits you get from actually being able to,
Move.
I mean, to move better.
Yeah.
I mean, you can and feeling and being strong.
Right.
I mean, you can run up that mountain that you come across, and you can swim in that ocean that you.
Right.
So
Climb
it-
the tree.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
And when you go out to actually do things, go on vacation, you're going for a hike, and it's
Yeah.
unplanned, and you don't have to think about it.
Nope.
You just know you're strong enough to do it because you spend enough
Yes.
time doing these things.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a big education piece, maybe locally, internationally, for kids in schools? Is that a piece that you guys ever look at?
We don't have any active programs for it. It's one thing that I personally feel strongly about. So we are looking for ways to do that. We have some cooperation in Sweden where we support some more national initiatives on getting more people active and especially with regards to kids. But it's one area which I would love for us to do more.
Yeah. You guys work with the I wish I could remember the adaptive
Paralympics.
sports.
Yeah, exactly.
Paralympics, yeah.
yeah.
When did that start, and just the innovation that goes into the equipment that they use for everything?
I mean, it's been around for a while, but I think the real breakthrough for that sport was really in London. And they did a fantastic job on promoting the Paralympic sports in a good way. They did a really, really incredible job with communicating what this community is about. So I think and we actually see a really strong growth in that field, and it's such an inspiring part as well. It actually inspires a lot of people to just see what people with those type of difficulties can do. I mean, it's incredibly inspiring.
And you guys have a partnership for
Yes.
for
Exactly.
the powerlifting
Yeah.
side of things for them, right?
Yes. So we supply Paralympic World Championships and the Paralympics with the full
They
set of
only have
equipment.
the Paralympics only have powerlifting, which makes sense.
Yeah.
They don't do weightlifting. The
Yeah,
No,
well,
it's only and it's only the bench press.
What
part
about
as well.
but did you see? Okay, so I remember when the Paralympics was kind of starting, and I remember there was no special bench press. I actually coached, a guy who didn't have legs, and it was like you basically had to strap them to a regular bench press. And it was very awkward for them.
Right.
I just saw. This is the first time I've ever seen like
Yeah.
a bench press made for those people.
Yeah.
How long has that been? It's awesome.
Yeah.
First, I'm like, what is that weird?
It looks
bench
nicer
press?
than the regular one
Yeah.
because it's got the big base. It looks
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
some
exactly.
giant
So what was the
powerlifter would
process?
fit well on it.
Yeah.
I mean, this process has really been working closely with the para powerlifting
Yeah.
federation, so the international federation. So they've been a very very big contributor to developing these products, and I think the next step is really to try to integrate this more into regular facilities and try to find ways where you can actually promote more of this type of training in a regular gym. I think it's still quite dedicated for the sport, and I think there's an opportunity to actually introduce this more and make it more accessible for
Or
people.
even in colleges, man.
Absolutely.
That just my mind just went crazy.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that be awesome to offer these people, places to train?
Yeah.
All over the country. I want to go to school, but they don't have anything. I can't be active because
And for veterans as well. I mean, it's a really I mean, for the people who get into this, it can have a massive impact on the lives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No.
Given the quality is so high, you guys basically you make the nicest barbells in the world. You do everything you can just make sure that the quality is super high, and then you just charge whatever price makes sense to have the nicest barbell that is possible to make. But then you also have like the XF bars and things that aren't for people that are trying to go to the Olympics. So it's a cheaper price, but the quality is still very high. Like how do you how do you make sure that you can have those barbells available at a cheaper price, but still keep the quality very, very high?
Yeah. We do some changes to the product, of course, and I think the main changes with regards to the hybrids or the fitness bars is in the bearing construction. But I mean, overall, they are very high quality as well. So I think it's more, but they are more optimized for that type of target group rather than. I mean, we have no intention to dilute the quality in any way. It's more about finding the right product for the right person.
Right.
Yeah,
they said his grip was a big part of that.
The grip is a bit smoother,
Yeah.
and the bearing construction is a bit different as well. We don't have as many needle bearings in that.
It still spins really
that part.
well. But
It spins really well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but the needs are different. You're not dropping 500 pounds from overhead with a fitness bar like you would with a
Right.
competition weightlifting bar.
right.
No.
And Lasha's not doing CrossFit. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever have him in here?
Have you?
he hasn't been here yet, but
Oh.
we
What's he doing?
That's
not your fault. He
No.
doesn't know what the best is.
exactly.
Yes, he does.
But,
Yes, he does. I promise you, Lasha knows good.
Yeah, we talked to him a bit, and he did what an amazing performance in Pattaya.
I saw it, and I'm like, I just can't believe that we're
No,
witnessing
that
this.
was incredible.
If
What
you're
athlete?
listening, you don't know who Lasha is.
Yeah.
He just set the snatch and clean and jerk world record
he just-
for the
He's
heavyweight.
six
Yeah.
what?
That's ever-
6'8"?
He's 6'7".
6'7".
But like,
Yeah.
not only he crushed it for every man that's ever lifted. There's never been anyone stronger than Lasha in the snatch, clean jerk, or total.
We're
Exactly.
going to see a 600-pound clean and jerk.
He's
from
chasing that right
I'm pretty
now.
sure there's a lot of coaches out there, like a lot of international coaches who we've talked about that.
Yeah.
Can he snatch 500 pounds? And I think yes. I think he can clean and jerk 600. I think he's just so far ahead. He's being very wise. He goes 6 for 6 at every World Championships. So that tells you, we all know this. If he's going 6 for 6 all the time, he's
And he's
capable.
hitting
He's capable
590.
of way more.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he's doing 220 and it's like a twig. It's like most of us, our last warm up, and that's his last.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good for 5 and 6, and that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible.
What athletes have come in here where you just see them and you go, whoa, that is next level scary.
No, I don't know exactly which one to mention, but I mean we have
You just get used to it.
yeah. But I think the best feeling probably is when you visit one of the World Championships and you're in the training area.
Yeah.
And you have just these amazing lifters around you, and they all just get at it.
Mhm.
And that is an incredible atmosphere to be in.
Yeah.
It's the
I-
best.
Yeah.
I almost
What-
like watching it more than when they're on the platform because, like,
Yeah.
if they're
Yeah,
lifting
exactly.
a weight that's kind of similar to something you can do something with, like if
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
take, if Lasha can do 220 for
Yeah.
snatch, pushing 500 pounds, but then
Yeah.
you see him snatch like 150, and it's 330 pounds, but then he moves it so incredibly fast, and it
He-
looks so
no, he-
easy.
he-
Yeah.
Muscle
Oh, did you see
snatched
the muscle
it.
snatch?
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. He muscle
Yeah.
snatched, what, 308 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
That was
140.
140.
Eric, would
Oh.
you agree that in the training hall is really where the competition begins? I think
I
those dudes
agree.
get in there, and it's like their way of like marking their territory. They're basically pissing on the barbell and saying, "I am
Not an
winning."
Aleko. Not an Aleko bar gun. No way. They would
Besides-
never do.
besides. But like the training hall is the most intense because especially like a week before,
Yeah.
prior to competition starting, it's just them beating their
Everyone's
chest
in their
out.
posture.
When Lasha goes in, when he muscle snatches 308, 140,
Yeah.
everyone else just goes home.
The other weightlifters look at each other, the other heavyweights, and they're like, "All right, we're battling for second, boys.
Who's going to get
Yeah.
Who's getting silver?"
Yeah.
So,
No, I mean that's where it starts.
yeah, that's where
definitely.
it starts.
And
Uh,
where you position, which platform you take, and who you lift next to, or
Oh yeah.
or
And you see them like looking at each other, and like dropping the barbell
Right.
in the training hall, and they're like already, like you said, posturing.
You look over and that 73 kilo Chinese dude's over there. The guy that power snatched 190.
Yeah.
You're like 6 kilos shy of the world record.
saw-
Or power cleaned it rather.
I saw the 67 guy he was repping 600 pounds. It was 270 kilos, and he's repping it for clean pulls. And that's 140. For all of you that don't know, it's a 148-pound man. He's playing with 600 pounds.
Yeah.
4x body weight. Just doing some clean pulls.
Yeah. Man, when we talk about innovation with you guys, the dumbbells that you guys are making are super cool. They've got the spinning handle like a barbell. They've got the bearings. Can you walk me through just a little bit of the production of those?
Yeah, I
Clearly,
mean,
they're very special. They're the one of a kind in the market.
yeah, exactly. So this is really where we've looked at the barbell to begin with, and then really taking all the expertise we have from that type of production, but of course shrinking it down to a rotating performance dumbbell. And we've just launched it, and it's a really nice product. So we make it here in our factory. It's the Eleiko steel for the grip. The knurling is there. It's a new way of applying the bearings on a rotating dumbbell. So it's really about finding a solution for a smooth and optimal rotation for the dumbbell, and we've also been able to do it in a way where we don't have to go up too much in diameter on the grip as well, which is actually better for most people. So it's typically, if you look at the rotating dumbbells out there, they're almost fat grip dumbbells, but here we have a performance dumbbell which is of the same type of smoothness in the rotation as our bars.
Yeah.
Super high quality.
Yeah, spins like they're barbells.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really nice. That's one of the products where you need to pick it up and feel it, and then you feel that it's this. I mean, you can do proper snatches with this dumbbell.
Do like a one-arm dumbbell snatch,
Yeah,
and it rotates
exactly.
real nice.
Oh, but it's even good. I remember, when I was at my peak in powerlifting, like taking the dumbbells, let's say like 120s, or the most I've ever done is 150s, and like when you fall back with them and they don't spin, it's just murder on your wrist. But these would just be like, zzz, it would just be,
Yeah.
the feeling and the amount of wear and tear on your.
And you still need
wrists
to
and
have
elbows.
some kind of connection to it. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it should not just spin
Out of
uncontrollably.
control. Yeah.
So you still need to feel the weight.
Basically,
And,
people are going to pick it
yeah.
up and then open their wallet. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
It's part of the deal.
I just want to give you my credit card and be like, do what you want with
Yeah.
this.
Well, we're gonna do that later when we go to
The
when we go to
store?
the apparel
Yeah.
store.
I think they mostly sell 150s. That's really all they sell with the
150s?
dumbbells. 150-pound
Uh,
dumbbells.
But that's the most I've ever done. But I mean, but it was murder getting it back. I remember like doing inclines. It's just like on my
Yeah.
wrist.
Yeah.
But that would just flow so much better,
Do you
Yeah.
ever just do one arm at a time?
Hmm?
Like whenever dumbbells get
Yeah,
heavy and I don't want to
you
like
do
try and
this.
position myself, I just do
Yeah.
one arm at a time.
Right, that's what you do. You fall back and you fall back, and it's just like getting it. It's just rough on the wrist. But
Yeah.
that would just flow into place so much better. I think any powerlifter out there listening is probably going to buy these because it hurts. That's why you stop doing
Yeah.
it, because it hurts too bad.
How often are you guys trying to revolutionize a product? Like you walk into a gym and you see this stuff that has been here, like a squat stand. I looked at a squat stand, I'm like, man, that's the same squat stand I've been squatting on since I was 13. Looks the same.
Yeah.
But when do you look at that and go, we need to make that better? Like, we need to find a way.
This is exactly what we do with our product development. I mean, we are not looking to expand beyond. I mean, outside of our core products. So we are about barbells, about the discs, about the dumbbells.
We haven't even talked about the discs. We have to talk about them. Go
It's
ahead.
like Apple.
That's bumper plates for people that don't call them discs.
Yeah.
I only call them
exactly.
discs here, and it sounds way
I think
cooler.
you call them mostly
I just say
plates as well.
plates.
Plates in the US.
Yeah.
So we do this all the time, and we have a list of projects that we are both working on and wanting to initiate as well. So there's not a lack of it. It's more that we just need to focus and get one thing or a few things done at a time.
Is there a company like slogan, piece, commitment of no matter what we put out, it has to be best in class?
I mean, best in class is. I mean, we talk about best in class strength products. That is the key of our to our offering, and really it's about the safety that comes first, and then it's about the quality, and then it's about the performance. So we really look at safety, quality, performance as the key components of what constitutes a best in class strength products, and then we have our categories of products that we focus on, and for each one we benchmark and test and measure our performance and our quality and our safety levels against the competition. And I think that's the whole process.
Yeah. And in the super secret room that we got to go in to make the barbells, which you couldn't bring the cameras so you guys can't actually see it, the amount of testing that goes on, they try to break barbells here.
Yeah.
They're testing things. I wish I could remember to the exact PSI, but you guys are trying as hard as you can to break and bend barbells.
Yeah.
And they come back to like 1,000th of a degree.
0.02 of their
yeah,
original.
and it's like, okay, we'll call that straight. And every single barbell has to meet those standards before it gets sent out.
And it's always, I mean, you can push the quality to the extreme and the durability of a barbell to the extreme, but then you lose also some of the features that make it optimal for lifting. So you
oscillation. If it's too,
you need to really find the perfect balance there.
Yeah.
And we built several test machines ourselves, really for this specific purpose of testing. And that's where we learn a lot about the longevity of the bars and how they perform as well.
Yeah, it's nice to see those tolerances being so tight with the weight of the barbells. The woman that was helping us assemble them earlier was saying that they can't be any more than 10 grams below 20 kilos or 20 grams above 20 kilos.
Exactly.
Which is a very tight tolerance.
Yeah.
10 grams is not much weight.
Like
I remember like in graduate school. Yeah, like in graduate school when I was competing in weightlifting, we had iron plates in our gym, and all of them had the real weight written on the side of the plate. It says 45 pounds, but it'll be like 47.24, 43.11. Like they're not within 10 grams. They're like many pounds off.
Yeah. That's such a Doug move right there to really
exactly.
know exact. I would just be like, PR.
No,
who knows?
We did the same thing.
You can pick them up and tell sometimes.
Yeah,
like
oh,
they
for
were that.
sure.
They were that.
43 and a 47. It's like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sometimes when you walk it out, you're like, this is not right. Barbell moves, plates fall off.
I always had 4 or 5 plates on the side of my bar, so I figured it kind of just averaged out to 45 per.
I'll take a 43 and a 47, and we'll call it 245s.
Right.
Eric, I asked a question there, and he wasn't quite sure, but like when it comes to PSI, can you explain like what does that mean? And he said like that it doesn't necessarily like 18,000 PSI could mean a couple things. Can you explain PSI?
I mean, the PSI is really where that's the measure of when the bar breaks, basically. Right. And that's an important part of creating a really high quality bar. But you also need to factor in the yield strength of the bar, which is sort of where you also need to factor in where the bar bends. So the different parameters to factor in to really find the optimal place for the steel to be in. So it's, I mean, PSI has become sort of the main thing that people look at for having for assessing a bar, and if it's above 200,000 or somewhere around there, it's a high quality bar, right. But that's true. But you also need to factor in some other aspects.
That's where it breaks.
Yeah.
but so we had a bar. We were testing out for another company, and we had someone do a clean and jerk. At first I was like, it spins well, and it definitely oscillates well. But I think the problem was it oscillated too much.
Yeah.
In a clean and jerk, we had Kane Wilkes, is a heavyweight in America.
Yeah.
He clean and jerked. It was a lot. But it wasn't even close to his best. It was like 210 kilos. He clean and jerks it, and that's all he did. Didn't miss. Clean and jerks it, sits it down, bent it. It was like, and that will not happen with it. We have a couple of Eleiko bars at our gym, and like it's been put to the test.
Yeah.
Never come close. This bar, it was its first day in existence, and it bent from a simple clean and jerk. He caught it, and that's where it happened. We looked on camera. As soon as he caught it, you saw it going.
You could see it.
What kind of weight would cause a bar, one of the nicest bars you have, to bend? Like, is it 3,000 pounds? Like, what type of weight would you have to lift?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we test our bars with 1,500 kilos. So I guess that's
Can't
roughly.
walk that out.
3,300.
Yeah,
I can't walk that
That's
out.
roughly around that. And then I mean, when you do, I mean, when Lasha lifts, of course the
It's got to be
force-
Lasha-proof.
The force is much more than just what's on the weight,
Right.
given
Yeah.
the speed of the bar and how. So you need to be. I mean, you cannot just measure it based on what you load on the bar.
Right.
So you have to test it on a very different.
Because if you obviously a lot of gym owners, like I've always heard that the storage of the barbell should be horizontal versus vertical. Like, what is the difference? Is there a difference? Is that a tall tale?
I mean, it could be what you explained, Doug. That there could be. I mean, and especially if you don't have any seals to the sleeves,
Right.
then it could be an effect that either something gets in or something or the grease
Right.
ultimately
goes down
disappears as well. So I mean, ideally, if you can have it horizontally, that's better.
what we
Unfortunately, not all the gyms really have that possibility. So there still needs to be some vertical racks as well.
We
A
built
lot of
gun
people
racks.
A lot of people hang their barbells. Like they'll have a hook and then it'll just hang on the top
Yeah.
on the top sleeve. Is that problematic at all in the long term for
Like
the sleeves?
hang on the walls or
No, he's
Oh.
talking about it's being stored.
okay,
It's basically
yeah.
like a J
on-
clip on the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, we haven't experienced that problem really, but if I would hang my own bar like that, probably not. But we haven't seen that as a big issue at our with our bars.
We put our bars to bed like babies. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
treat them
it's in a
very
beautiful
your
gun
tool.
rack designed perfectly. Yeah.
very gently.
in a bed of
Yeah.
silk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
talked very little about the plates, the
Yeah.
discs. Where did you guys, what is the process to creating one of those? We actually didn't get to see any of that.
That's it.
Hopefully tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. I think you can. We'll take you to the
More
rubber factory.
tours, more tours. The
Yeah.
best thing. We're gonna
But I
make a
mean,
whole
that's
set
a-
of plates.
That's a funny story as well, because the coloring of the plates was actually something that the Eleiko came up with in the beginning.
You guys created that.
And it was really like there were some different coloring options out there among competitors, but ultimately the management team at the time were able to pursue the weightlifting federation that this was the right way to color the
Change the
So
game.
all
the
different
disc.
companies had different color schemes, and then you guys kind of got there first and said, let's lock this down as the official color scheme.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's but I mean the
I'd
disc,
love to be at the meeting when they were like red.
No.
Yeah.
Red has to be the big one.
Yeah.
Like you put them on there.
Yes.
Everyone knows you mean business.
Yeah, it makes sense. But we'll take you to the factory tomorrow for the plates, and they are, and I mean that's really the core product in terms of exposure, and that's where you see that it's the Eleiko products.
Well, what makes a good
Yeah.
disc, and like what
That's what I was about
helps?
to ask.
Yeah, what helps with the longevity of a disc? Because like I grew up lifting on Eleiko discs and,
Yeah.
and bars,
Yeah.
and my strength coach from 20 years ago, still a good friend of mine, he still uses those same plates. And
Yeah,
when
I
he
mean,
got them, they were
the
20
rubber
years old. They're
composition
like
is-
40
yeah.
years old.
Absolutely, and we have so many discs out there that are really 40, 50 years old, and the old ones are really fantastic to lift with. Actually, but I mean the rubber composition is really key. So you need to have the right rubber composition for of course durability, but then also you don't want to have too much bounce. So that's kind of the key the key thing to optimize with regards to the discs, and other things like of course the construction and I mean some are molded and some are screwed together with the steel hub, but I mean for us it's important to optimize the bounce, the durability, and then we care a lot also about just how the look of it as well. I mean it has to really inspire people to lift. So the coloring and the overall design as well is important.
Is it the same tolerances with regard to the highs and lows of what it can weigh?
Yeah, exactly. So a 20 kilo disc can weigh maximum 20 grams above that.
No, and the grooves. There's so many little things that. What about the center part? I would say that a lot of the discs that could go where it can go bad is that middle part coming loose. You know, like a lot of the muscle driver plates do that. So, you know, how do you avoid that?
And it's really I mean one is of course how you fit with the construction, how you fit the rubber to the steel hub.
Right.
And we have a kind of a fishtail solution there, which really makes it last for a very long time.
Right.
So it's typically that, or that it's the quality of the rubber. So that's where they can. I mean, if you look at the plates in general, that's where they can try to wear out.
Right.
But this is what we just need to test and continuously improve as well. So I mean, this is. I mean, we want our plates to be there in 50 years to be used.
Everyone in the world will have them, and then you're out of business because they never go bad.
Yeah. I like how you guys for the 5 kilo plates and even the 2.5 kilo plates, they are larger than even the 25 kilo plates
in width.
Yeah, like the same diameter. But the width is bigger. The reason I brought that up is a lot of people they have those smaller plates, and the diameter of the disc is the same. That way you can pull from the same height, but they're really thin and they break really easy.
Yeah,
but the design you guys have doesn't seem to have that problem.
No, and that's really both for technique training and for youth and kids to use that. And it's I think it's a better solution. I mean it's and you can actually drop those as well from above your head as well, so they are very durable.
Well, on the same note, over there, the bars at the bottom left, what are those 5 kilo aluminum bars?
Exactly.
If I remember those correctly.
Yeah.
So for technique work, people that are just learning, that aren't very strong yet, for kids, they have very nice lighter barbells that have similar dimensions.
Right.
Yeah.
And I got a question. Like, I've never really fully understood. You know how you have some barbells that have the grooves in the sleeves. You know, there's one on the far rack. What is that still around? What is that about?
You mean the type of ribbing on the surface?
On the sleeve itself,
exactly.
It's got the lines. You know.
I mean that's, to be honest, that's more of a emotional thing.
Right.
I mean the sound of putting a disc on, it should be sort of a singing sound. I mean it should be a nice feeling to put the disc on.
Yeah.
Right.
So and you have many sleeves that are completely
emotionless.
Emotionless, exactly. I was looking for that word.
Wait, so you were talking about the little tiny
grooves.
ridges make the singing sound, but you're talking about the deep grooves where they actually click into place.
Yeah, the barbell.
Oh, you were talking about the what we call the power lock bar,
yes,
where you have a
power lock
special
bar.
type of collar as well.
Right.
Yeah. And that is a great bar, which hasn't really gotten the breakthrough it deserves, to be honest. It was used in the old times, and we took it back sort of to reinvent it and introduce it again.
Like, what's it for? Yeah.
I mean, it's really for tightening the
so you don't have clips come off.
Exactly. I mean, when you drop it, typically they start to lose the collars, but here you can lock it, and the feeling is actually better. In my mind, lifting with that type of bar, because it feels like one piece. So you don't have any slippage, and you can do multiple repetitions with that as well.
Are each of the grooves set up so it's like a 45 or 20 kilo plate fits, and then there's a groove?
Yeah, kind of, but they're more just for, well, you still have to tighten the collar as well.
Gotcha.
So but I mean, it's one I actually hope that will I mean, more people will discover that it's a I mean, the professional weightlifters, they love it.
It would prevent any of that. You know, I'm sure we've all seen the videos of like people in major competitions the weights sliding off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it would totally end.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it doesn't take
You should
off.
try it because, I mean, the feeling is different.
I will today.
Yeah.
Don't
We
worry.
will right now,
We
right at
will.
the end of this. Travis Mass gonna squat front squat 400
Minimum.
and a minimum,
Yeah.
probably 5 today because he's all fired up, hanging out
I
at
am
Elite Go
fired
HQ.
up. Yeah.
As the visionary CEO, what gets you really fired up about the future of the company and the products you guys make?
Mm.
Well, I am fired up because I think we have an incredibly exciting journey ahead. We want to continue to grow, product develop, innovate, bring weightlifting and powerlifting and strength training to more people. I mean, ultimately, I want us to have such an effect on the industry and on the way people train that this is the base. I mean, this is the base. This is where you start. You
Yeah.
start to learn how to lift, and from there you grow more capable, and then you can really pursue what excites you the most. I want to get that message out to so many more people.
Yeah.
And I think the best platform for us to do that through is really through creating fantastic products. Education will be there as a channel for us to communicate through, but the core should be great, best in class, innovative products.
Beautiful.
Check
When
mark.
you kind of pan out and look at the fitness industry as a whole, you've been through this CrossFit craze where it just exploded for
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
I guess where do you see a little bit of the future of like fitness? Because we've kind of seen this plateau in the CrossFit
Yeah.
space. Weightlifting, I feel like, is on its way up, and
Feels like it.
it's still rising.
Yeah.
Are there things on the horizon that you see coming, or just the general continual growth of people understanding the lifts and recognizing the health and benefits being strong?
I mean, I think I think that's what I see. I think CrossFit has had an incredible journey, and we've been part of that journey as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the influence that has had on the overall commercial fitness industry is quite significant, but still it's very limited.
Yeah.
So and while CrossFit has grown quite, it's a very strong identity to CrossFit, which is a very strong and positive community, but it's also still a very small part of the overall global fitness
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah.
So I think it's more finding ways to connect, because the basics of CrossFit is very positive in my mind, and it's really down to weightlifting and gymnastics.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean the basic movements, and I think that's resonating with the larger fitness industry. I think it's just trying to find ways where this can actually get commercialized even more. I think we're still looking at a very small part of the population that are active in fitness to begin with, and in that market it's a very small part still that is in CrossFit.
Yep.
So all of us, I think, are in it, and we feel like it's happening all over the place. But if you zoom out a bit, there's still
That's what's happening.
Massive health problems.
Yeah,
We have to get
exactly.
barbells in more people's hands.
And those I think are not really being addressed by the performance market we're in.
Right.
So we need to find a way to bridge that, because I think the focus on the basic movements and on education and on the lifting is a solution and is part of it. But
It
it's just
needs to get bigger though.
yeah. So I mean, and that's really where I want us to be part of that work as well. I mean, we need to find ways where we can actually have a bigger impact on the industry.
Yeah, and get really quality, best-in-class products to people as they enter in, instead of the janky products that get sold to them
Janky.
because they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
You can hand someone the best barbell in the world and teach them how to lift and move, and now
Safely.
yeah,
Yeah.
and now it's a
And I think
much better
what
process.
we want to connect really with the user of the product as well. I mean, typically if you look in our industry, it's a business to business industry where we sell to facilities or gym chains. But I think where you can really, we want to build a brand, we want to build a connection to the product out with the user, and then I think you can get interesting things starting to happen,
Yeah.
where you actually get a pull from the people who use the products, and where they discover the benefits, and then they start to influence as well what is out there in the gyms.
Agreed. You know, I think we are all we're all in it, like you said, and we all think that everybody it works out, or that CrossFit has really spread the word. But if you go to any grocery store in the world and interview the first 100 people, I guarantee maybe 2 out of the 100 have lifted a barbell.
Yeah,
correct.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
so like still there's 80% of the that would mean that like the majority of the population still needs to learn.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I had a meeting with a marketing agency recently, and they, we had a back and forth, and I tried to ask them what do they see, and who's our typical user of our products, and they really described a person which was not at all doing what I'm used to. I mean, when you look at traditional weightlifting lifts. So even if even when you had a company that really had researched us and looked at what we do, they had in their mind a completely different user, which was really doing some kind of odd old style heavy lifting movement.
No. You're like, no, that's not right at
and
all.
also
you're fired.
Yeah. So we're not
also-
friends.
and also he was envisioning this person screaming a lot, and I mean what we talk about is a very
Brutal.
different type of
Brutal.
exercise.
Yeah.
and it's almost it's more towards the quiet still meditation type of
Yeah.
reward you get from lifting.
Yeah.
So
Heavy
it was just
lifts
a
and golf claps.
I mean, I think if
job.
you
it should,
could
it
just-
should
Good job, Lasha.
Yeah.
You
if
did
you could
you
take
did well
any
today.
human being to the World Championships, I think they would appreciate it. They just don't see it.
Yeah.
I could take anybody there and say, watch this person lift like pretty much a heavy car. And look how, but like, look
Yeah.
how easily he does
Totally.
it, and look how he moves.
Yeah.
And just like say,
Exactly.
okay, here's an empty barbell. You try to move like that. And
Yeah.
they can.
Yeah.
And then they would be like, their minds would be blown. It's not screaming and yelling. It's not a bunch of barbarians. It's incredibly athletic people
Yeah.
that are moving their bodies the way that they were designed to
exactly.
move.
And it's beautiful. It's truly
gorgeous,
beautiful.
yeah.
It is beautiful, man. When you see Lou, you're just like,
Yeah.
like I like as a coach, I love movement is what I love. Like I follow Worldwide Ballet. Okay, I'm out. I've said it. It's out there. But like I do it because you watch. These
Arnold did
people.
ballet. It's cool.
I knew it.
yeah, that's
I
right.
knew it.
That's
You do
why-
it?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but I love the beauty of the movement.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
I
ballet.
understand.
When
Yeah.
you see a person move like that, and they take their leg and they put it above their head, and their torso stays
Yeah.
vertical, you're just like, what?
I love watching those.
How does that
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah.
And so that's what people need to understand.
Yeah.
It's about learning to move your body through space, like in beautiful ways.
Yeah.
So
Where can people find more? Where can people buy one of these beautiful, best-in-class barbells?
do yourself a favor and do it.
Just do it, people. You'll
Yeah, exactly.
it'll
Get,
be
get in
you'll
touch.
share a bed with it at night. You'll hug it
Exactly.
I'm
like it's
going
your
to.
kid.
I'm going to. Drew's
Now-
gonna have to sleep beside it.
Yeah.
Get in touch with us. Where you'll find us on eleiko.com. That's
Beautiful.
where you reach out, and we would be happy to
Yeah.
assist and help.
Coach Travis Smash.
Mashelite.com.
There he is. Doug Larson.
Before I throw out my Instagram and all that, I've been lifting on your guys' bars for 20 years. I really cannot endorse Eleiko any stronger. It's an honor to be here.
I
We did this
appreciate
5
that.
years ago. Had a fantastic time. You guys treat us incredibly well, and it's really good to be back here.
Fantastic.
So if you haven't lifted on the Eleiko bar, I highly recommend it. They really are the best. If you haven't picked that up from the rest of the show, so Eric, thank you for having us here.
I appreciate that.
And you can find me on Instagram at Douglas E. Larson.
Yeah. I also would love to say thank you so much for having us out here. I never knew barbells would take me to the place where they make the best barbells. And on top of just doing this with 2 of my best friends here, we have our families out here. And our
Our
daughters
babies. Yeah.
are
Yeah, it's
basically
amazing.
a
It's a
year
family-
old. And they got to go on this tour.
family trip.
And yeah,
Eat
it's
Swedish food.
unbelievable that,
Yeah.
that this is a part of our lives and we get to be here. So thank you so much
No,
for
the
having
pleasure
us.
is mine, and I love what you guys do. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anders Varner at Anders Varner. We're the Shrug Collective at Shrug Collective. 1-ton challenge, snatch, clean, jerk, squat, deadlift, bench, 2,000 pounds, 1,200 for you ladies. That's the goal. You can get over to onetonchallenge.com, download the free book, Making Strong People Stronger. We'll see you guys soon.